$300 Pottery Barn full boat bed for a child. Ooh, Kelly wants to be on the stream too. She's propped up in her chair.
Hello, it's me again. Can you believe it? What do you know? You're not alone. I'm right here. I even brought Lala with me today. So we're going to try and bring you some information as a duo. So today we, I guess essentially a couple weeks ago, we started into a topic regarding, different support groups, different places you can, seek out help, seek out empathetic ears. And realistically, different programs like the having a assistance animal and such. So, we covered a lot, but the plan was actually to cover more because thankfully in this world there are more things than the few we covered last week or 2 weeks ago. So recently I got myself wrapped up with a place called Hobscotch. They're out of Dartmouth, Hitchcock, up in New Hampshire. I'm actually familiar with Dartmouth. I had a friend who he had a bad heart. He ended up there a few times, and he was able to stick around for a few more years than they even expected, just because they did. They took good care of him up there. So when the opportunity presented itself to me to work along with them for something that had to do with me, I said, well, of course I did. So the Hopscotch PTE, the post-traumatic epilepsy, is what this particular study that I jumped into is regarding. What they've sent me is essentially a manual and memory toolbox, a home-based self-management and cognitive training changes lives in post-traumatic epilepsy. So essentially, they really find through their research that by working on your memory and working on your listening skills and your ability to take in basic information on a regular basis, it really helps with the epilepsy as well. Me with being refractal and not being able to take meds, not being able to take meds has made me very open to a lot of different things. Hey, kitty, can you get off my keyboard? I've looked around for many different options on things that would help. I mean, the diet, the cutting out drinking, the CBD, different types of foods that I mean, just everything that I've spoke about basically up to this point have been things that have helped me, that have really helped me. I'm with that as well. It's we recommend it. We did an episode a couple weeks back regarding the CBD and just the different uses. We had reached out to Epidiolex at one point to confirm, you know, what it was that they were prescribing, because they are the only FDA approved one. They have the Marinol as well, but that's not quite the same thing because that does have THC in it. The one that I take, the Holmes Organic, it's literally reads as such: organic extra virgin olive oil is the only other ingredient, and the rest is full spectrum unflavored CBD. And it's unflavored, but it still tastes like crap. But I find it to be a lot more helpful than the I find it to be a lot more helpful than the other things I've tried in terms of, especially for my mood and such, because I'm supposed to take other medicines as well, and unfortunately they don't work out very well either. So well, rest assured, Blue Corn, I use plenty of Delta 9 as well. So we're in good shape there. I definitely find specific strains, especially. It's not every strain that works as well for me. I've tried many different kinds, and they don't all work. The oddly enough, the Granddaddy Purple strains, the ones that are literally purple, seem to do the best for me. I mean, I can be having an episode and use it, and episode over, then I even feel better. Usually in a better mood too. I don't know.
Other times you have to resort to the Klonopin. Like,
Yeah, and then like this morning, I decided last night to stay up all night and watch the fireworks in Oahu, Hawaii, with a homie over on Steve Harlow. He did an all-nighter thing basically for me. I mean, for him it was just till midnight, but here on the East Coast it was an all-nighter. So I was up pretty late watching fireworks, but I gotta say that was a pretty impressive. I said, oh, it's just been kind of going like this since Christmas, but just wait until it actually hits midnight. And I'm like, man, do I set an alarm and wake up at 5 and watch this? And by like 4:20, 4:30, I was like, well, yes, I'm up. So I just sat up and ended up having to take a Klonopin to fall asleep properly last night. So, but I also went to sleep and woke up and haven't had a seizure all day, so that's fine. I'll accept that. So that's fine. But once again, when I first, I guess one thing also before I get started, I like to cover one thing in particular. It's honestly, it's very important that it's covered every single time. It's the disclaimer. Epilepsy is a terrible silent disease. Many of us have it. You are not alone. Tell me your story. Tell us all. Enjoy some conversation, tunes, optimism. But remember, I am not a doctor, a nurse, a psychologist, a therapist. I probably can't take your blood pressure properly. Why? Because I am not trained to. In order to come speak, you got to have somebody there with you just in case there's an emergency, or obviously not everybody lives out of control from their epilepsy. Some people have it under control and would be perfectly fine in a room by themselves. So, if you're trying to reach out and speak to us, reach out before the show. The email is pinned at the top of the chat here. It's also in my community page on YouTube. So if you're interested in reaching out, please reach out through that email for the show. We can always have a brief video chat before the show, confirm anything, make sure that things are going to work as we need them to. If you would like to chat and Sunday just isn't a good day, well, right now I'm doing this because I can't work, and so I'm sitting at home with my guitar. I don't know what the heck I did with it, but it's right here. I sit at home and learn how to play the guitar at this point. It's basically all I do. So if you want to get at me and have something you want to talk about and are having some troubles, I'm open. So
pre-record.
Yeah, we can always pre-record something, and it's easy enough to play during the stream. As you see, I can play even my goofy songs that I make online with old Stever. So, if there is an emergency, there is a delay, we'll just stop the feed. More than likely, just if I need to, I'll call an ambulance. We don't want to traumatize anybody. Don't want to see anybody. It's already hard enough being epileptic. So if you're having problems, we just want to make sure that somebody is able to take care of it, and everybody's taken care of properly. if you try anything crazy, we'll just end the fee before anyone is wiser. Don't waste your time or life, please. It's not worth it, because we'll just cut it. No one will even know. So with that, allow me to return back over. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's ditch that. Okay, so that's my mail. Let's turn that off. I don't read that. Yeah, maybe somebody will email me. Unlikely. We're 12 episodes and we ain't got an email yet. We'll see. Maybe this week will be the week. So as I started Hobscotch, the Cognitive Health and Wellbeing Institute, basically they're a good organization. They're worth being involved with, and so I involved myself. Oddly enough, they do pay you for the study. It's not a lot of money. It's a couple bucks. I can get like $65 in total or something. It's nothing special, but hey, it's better than a kick in the pants. Buy me some dinner or something. A lot of these research studies, they do like they
offer incentives,
Yeah,
but you can't go beyond a certain dollar amount because it would coerce people into doing the study.
Yeah. So essentially, they'll give you a credit card with some of these. They'll pay for your
They'll pay for your travel if you
pay
have to
for
go
your travel. If you have to stay in a hotel for any amount of time, they'll pay for your travel and
depending
stay.
on the study.
I mean, exactly.
The one you're doing is at home, so you're
yeah,
not
the one.
getting
Yeah, I don't get any of that. Mine's basically like, hey, thanks for answering some questions. Here's a gift card, basically. But like I said, that's better than nothing. And on top of that, I'm not getting a gift card out of this. This is, I didn't even care about the gift card when they told me about it. I'm like, they're like, well, you got to fill out the W-9. And I'm like, oh, okay. Big deal. I'm fine with that. I don't care. Because why I'm doing this is so I can see if this helps me. And by thus, I'm able to take this information and spread it to others, and hope that I can help others with this information as well. I really want this to work for me, and so I even have pretty high hopes for it. I guess typically I like to wait until I've participated in something before I make a decision on whether I'm like, oh yeah, let's share this with people. We're just getting started. I just read ahead in the book, and honestly, I'd like to share what is in this book with everybody. Because it's not the stuff, obviously, the different, it's not everything that's in here. But some key points that while we read through this, that really stood out to us. That I mean, I can't see anything more important than making sure that this information reaches not only epileptics but anybody. Because I tell you what, this is fantastic stuff. This is fantastic stuff. The Dartmouth Health Institute, they're ready. They're ready to help. So let's see here. What do we got? So So let me read you a brief overview here. The Hopscotch Institute for Cognitive Health and Well-Being, managing a condition like epilepsy can be complex, frustrating. Seizures can make it hard to work, go to school, drive, and take part in social activities. More than half of people with seizures experience memory problems. Sometimes epilepsy treatment makes these activities harder too. Hobscotch, home-based self-management and cognitive training changes lives, is an evidence-based self-management program that helps improve the lives of people with epilepsy. While not a cure, Hopscotch helps adults with seizure disorders manage and cope with memory challenges and lead to happier, more productive lives. What does Hopscotch involve? Hopscotch program targets memory and attention problems with adults with epilepsy. Developed in the Epilepsy Center, Hopscotch uses psychological strategies to improve memory function. The program is effective for adults with epilepsy who have controlled or uncontrolled seizures. This program teaches self-management through one-on-one sessions between a patient and a certified Hopscotch cognitive coach. Program participants set goals for each session. With their coach, participants identify memory problems and build solutions. The result: patients feel more in control. Boy, would I enjoy some of that. Some more control. That's powerful to read. When I read it originally, it really stood out to me. Honestly, I saw this as more than just an opportunity to gather some content or get some information for me and the show. That this is what they're looking to accomplish is so necessary, and it's not necessary for just people with epilepsy. So the program includes 8 sessions of 45 to 60 minutes, one-on-one guidance from a trained cognitive coach, a memory toolbox to build customized strategies, weekly testing, and refining strategies. So I haven't started working with my coach yet. I got a nice blank book still. I'm looking forward to it, that's for sure. I filled out all the email stuff that they sent me.
Still gotta send in your W-9.
Yeah, that's I gotta send that all back in with the in that prepaid envelope thing. Program participants set goals for each session with their coach. Participants identify memory problems and build solutions. The results: patients feel more in control. We are here for anyone, anywhere. Through its global reach, Hopscotch has improved the lives of hundreds of participants through the United States and world. Trained cognitive coaches offer the program across the United States. Cognitive coaches can also deliver Hopscotch entirely virtually. People with epilepsy around the world have benefited from this life-changing program. Is Hopscotch right for you? To learn more, go to read their program details, frequently asked questions in the brochure. I recommend it. They are heck, I mean, honestly, the frequently asked questions were important to me when I first went into here.
I'm just trying to read some of the questions you scrolled up to, guys.
Well, this is, I just want to show that's where we're at. So whatever we're on right here, it'll show on to there.
Kelly, get down.
Yeah. Let's do that. No point in showing my mug. Let's let this information be apparent here. Is Hopscotch right for me? It asks. Program can help with day-to-day skills such as remembering appointments, medications, and names. What do you need to participate? transportation to an in-person appointment, or access to a webcam and reliable internet to attend the first session. Reliable telephone access and reception for the weekly phone calls with your cognitive coach. You'll need phone access approximately 45 to 50 minutes per week. They will provide you with the materials that you need to do Hobscotch, but all the growth, improvement, and insight will come from you. Hope we can all recognize that. If you want growth, self-growth comes from within. You must choose to grow.
Is that what it says?
No.
Oh, you just said that?
That's the problem that I see many times. Is people want change, but they don't want to make the choices and become self-aware of what is necessary to make the changes. And so they stay the same, even though they know the solution. I don't know. So, like I said, it's 45-minute to 60-minute phone calls, one-on-one.
What do you got to lose?
What do you got to lose? Outside of these meetings, the more time that you can commit, the more that you can get out of the program. They recommend taking 10 minutes or more each day to reflect on memory issues, practice problem solving, therapy, and use the mindfulness relaxation techniques and other strategies from the toolbox. Over time, the skills will become part of your daily life. Does it work? Yeah. They say it has improved the quality of life in 2 randomized controlled trials with over 100 participants. So they've seen the results. And you know, I'm just trying to be the next one. If it works, I'm going to work it. That's as easy as that. So, my spouse, friend, partner has epilepsy. Is this program right for them? You know, it relies on the participant being self-motivated to achieve their goals. They found that people who get the most out of Hobscotch are those who sign themselves up. Interesting. Being enthusiastic to do the work during the 8 weeks of the program and beyond generates the best results. Your loved one will benefit from your encouragement and support as they make their way through the program. So you got to want it.
Like most things.
Like most things, you've got to want it. Is Hobscotch available in my area? Now it's available worldwide via telehealth. I reached out to them through the Contact Us. It was quite easy. They reached back out to me, and you know what? They're all really nice people. It's like everybody I've talked to so far has been super nice up there, and
Cool.
Called me on the phone. Everybody I've talked on the phone and emailed with, and like kind and. You know, that person. I had never talked to that guy when I called a couple days ago. Yeah, that study coordinator. I'd never talked to that person before in my life. Like, heck, I'll take care of it. I'm not on that study, but I know what study it is, and I know what information trying to get. So he was able to provide me with what I needed, what he was able to, you know, and that, heck, you didn't do anything. He goes, I can't help you. Here's a voicemail. Good luck. Like most people do these days. How much does it cost? It's free. It's free. All it costs you is your self-worth. If you decide that you're not going to do it after all said and done, that's your choice. If you do want to do it and you would like to see improvements in your life, how much does it cost? Nothing. Not a dang thing. It's free. It's paid for by grants and donors and funding. And so one of the ones that I try to make all the albums that I've made that, you know, I don't do anything too fancy. It's me, and I've made a couple, and then I got a couple I've made with Stever, and you know, I've actually got another one that we need to put together at this point. We've got a lot of music that we haven't compiled yet. That's really come along. But all the stuff that we do, we take a portion of it and we donate it. And my portion, I just donate it. I just donate it to different charities. The Glitchy Farms album, third of it goes to the NC Alliance. My EDM albums, I just donate it to whatever. I just reach out to Epilepsy Foundation because I do it in bulk. I don't just do it all at once. I just keep tabs, and then once it gets to a certain point, we just send it all at once. No point in sending a bunch of $3 checks every other day, you know. So we'll just wait it out and hit it every time it gets to a certain level.
It's all going to different people or different organizations that really need it.
Yeah. So we're really trying. So how this is one of the ones where we are going to be adding to. So you know, support indie music, support epilepsy,
right.
And it's all good stuff. They're all amazing organizations, all very open, all very easy to reach out to and speak with. Don't be afraid to donate. I mean, maybe 1 cup of coffee instead of 2 one day. You know, it doesn't have to be much. Every bit helps. I asked them about live streaming the entire study, actually, and that wasn't one of the options. Like, we can't do that because it's because of the private things about it. But
yeah, you probably disclosures.
Yeah, there's disclosures that I wouldn't be able to do until it becomes public or whatever. Yeah. So, at some point I will, but for now, realistically, I'd like to cover some of the stuff that's in this here pamphlet. Get back here. This pamphlet here showed up in my packet along with a diary. I had the diary sitting here. It must be sitting over there somewhere. Regardless, the diary doesn't have anything in it. It's literally a diary. It has different things to keep track of, whether I have episodes in the daytime or anything like that. So let me go into here real quick. So the research study during the visit, the first visit that I went to, it was I get assigned to a group, and there's 2 different groups. There was the self-management intervention group that gets it right away, and then there was another group that was supposed to get it in 3 months. And seeing as how I kind of dropped the ball on my time frame, I have a feeling I'm going in the 3 months one. But the participation in the study should last about 6 months. There are sets of assessments to complete at the enrollment. There's 3 months from the enrollment and 6 months from the enrollment. So it could take longer if any of the Hobscotch program sessions need to be rescheduled. All the study activities will take place over the phone, online, or by mail. So they sent me a full consent form. Here, fill this out. You must consent to all of this. Once we do that, once I consented, I go over the information together, and then they say, you know, they asked me if were there any family members or siblings or anybody that would be interested in enrolling in the study with me. The thing is, on the webpage, they make it sound as though you have to have epilepsy to take part in these programs, but it's not. These are memory. These are cognitive health and well-being programs, not epilepsy programs. This one just happens to be closely related. So that's just it closely correlated, I guess, because this one has to do more with traumatic brain injury, people that have hurt their brains or have not hurt their brains. So they need people of all of different types. On top of that, hey, you don't even have to have epilepsy or have seizures. Essentially, they just say, do you have memory problems? Have you had any type of traumatic brain injuries in your life? And do you think it could have any correlation to the problems that you currently have, the things you currently deal with, the different memory issues you currently deal with? And if I had to say, maybe I'd say yeah. I mean, realistically, my childhood was extreme sports and different. Oh man, I mean, just one thing after another. Me hitting my head, different skateboarding, karate, jumping out of trees and off of cliffs and off of rocks.
Doing 50-foot cliff dives.
50, 60-foot cliff dives. And I mean, and you don't think about it when it's happening, especially when you're a dumb young kid and you're drinking like a fish and you're not even really thinking about the consequences at the time. So I didn't worry about the consequences at the time, unfortunately. And now I think I do pay the consequences of some of it. So I'd like to kind of cover what I thought was important in the toolbook here. Some of it's just more basic information. Maybe you're already familiar with the information, but what is memory? There are different types of memory. Short-term memory, it stores a small number of things for a short time. This is called the working memory. An example would be looking up a phone number in a phone book and remembering the number while you dial. The number is remembered long enough to enter it into the phone, but by the next day, the number is forgotten. Long-term memory stores a lot of memories for a long term. The brain has different ways of remembering different types of information. Semantic memory is used for remembering facts. For example, knowing what a tiger looks like or who the first United States president was. Episodic memory allows you to remember and relive episodes of your life that happened in the past. For example, remembering what you did on your last birthday. Procedural memory allows you to remember how to ride a bike or play a sport. These types of memories are stored in a different part of your brain. They're all stored in different parts of your brain. I worry about my memory a lot. I used to be like the dictionary. People would be like, what was that word? Like, I don't know that word. Like, people would have asked me things, and it was only because as a kid, I'd get in trouble and I'd end up having to write out the dictionary and stuff because I'd run out of schoolwork at school. So I knew a lot of cool words, and so I like to use them. Tons of snails, I assure you, they're everywhere. But in that one, they're cichlids, so they get eaten pretty quickly. Unless they're really big and can't fit in their mouth. But after that, they usually just chew up the shells and That's the end of that.
So you can see there's nothing left in that tank because they rip everything up.
Yeah, we try to put plants and stuff in that tank, and it's
Used to have a rock, and the fish got stuck in the rock.
yeah, they'll get stuck in the ornaments. Any ornament I put in there, they either bury themselves with it, they get stuck under it, or get stuck in a log.
We learned our lesson, just took the rock out.
We're just like, I guess he's I guess if anything, maybe one of these days we'll get one of the background things or something. But
yeah, they definitely don't like it being open like that because they get scared when people walk by.
Yeah,
there's nowhere for them to hide.
Yeah, they're not huge fans, but at the same time, we've tried Anacharis, we've tried Puff.
I mean, the one that's floating around is the one you just recently put in there, and it was like 3 times as big as that.
I put it through the tree.
Yeah.
I found a wedge in the tree, and I sat there and I pushed all the leaves one by one up through the tree and through the branch, and they ripped it out. Like, oh, well, never mind. Took the roots and everything with it this time.
They're Jack Dempsey's, aren't they?
Yeah, those ones are Jack Dempsey's. They were in a batch with a bunch of electric blues, and they were beautiful. All the electric blues, and the guy who owns the store, he keeps one in his plant tank, and everybody's like, oh, I want to buy that one. He's like, nope. And they're like, oh, well, why not? Let me pay you. I'll pay you a lot more than it's worth. And nah, I'll just keep it until they offer him some stupid amount of money, and then he sells it to them. And he walks into the back or back over to his house and grabs another one and drops it right back in there. He's got a bunch of them. Dude breeds them. He's got so many of them.
That's funny.
So it's hilarious that these people like get fooled so bad. But when these ones, when they get excited and stuff, their colors are awesome. They turn almost as blue as the electric blue ones, which are basically like blue and black. But these ones still keep all their spots. So they get like blue and black, but they have the spots, and it keeps it from being able to be one of the really special ones. But they're pretty, and they've lived in that tank for a long time now, and they've been growing so slow. I swear, when we had the green terror and the convict cichlids with that female Jack Dempsey, and then that female like just exploded. I think she saw how big that green terror was getting and was like, nah. Yeah, I'm not letting you become the biggest one. And I swear she started eating all the feeder fish. Like, she would not let anybody else get the feeder fish. And then that green terror started attacking everything. He was a jerk. Yeah. He was a jerk, but he was so cool looking. Put
your hand up to the glass and he would attack
the glass. Hit the glass. Yeah, his whole face and stuff was all beat to heck, but he did not care. Yeah, like
not mess with him because he really would. He'd get really aggressive with anybody who put their hand on the tank, and he'd try to attack your hand or.
Yeah,
he was crazy.
He was a jerk.
His face was all mangled by the time.
I remember when I traded him away before we left. He was.
They wouldn't even really give us much money for him because they're like, yeah, he's messed up. And we're like, no, he's healthy. And they're like, no, he has issues. I'm like, yeah, but you got to understand, he's the healthiest one.
He's the one that'll take out everything. Put him in a bucket of pee and it'll live.
Yeah.
Those fish can live.
And the convict cichlids would breed. And then the mom would come over and like grab the babies and put
them all in her mouth, and she'd sit there.
Spit it back out.
So Dempsey and 5 stars. I need to. He's right though. Needs more. Needs more in there. It's
probably when we move, we'll probably.
That's the thing is, I think we're really just waiting to move because we
have a bigger tank.
That's the small tank. That one was the in between. We were.
That was an afterthought.
Yeah, that one was. I was driving home from Fayetteville the one day and saw somebody had an advertisement for a fish tank with a Cascade 1200 exo pump. I'm like, whoa, for real? Sold.
Like $70.
Yeah, I gave her $65 for the tank and the pump.
Yeah.
and it had like rocks, and
It
they
had a
gave
lot
us
of
all the
sand in
food.
it.
Yeah, they gave us sand. I was like, sand. You
So
can
took the sand out. It took a while to get the sand out.
Yeah, still got sand in there.
Yeah.
Because I just go to Walmart and I grab
The cheap bags of
Yeah.
rocks.
I said Walmart, but I mean Lowe's, Walmart,
Right.
Home Depot, any of those places.
You don't have to buy fancy Fisher
you don't
rocks.
have to go to the store and buy those dyed fancy rocks that just lose their color after a few months anyway. You can really just go to any hardware store, and as long as you soak those rocks and wash them, I wash them with the pressure washer real quick, and then I sweep them back up and run them through the sifter a few times, and then I put them into a tank. And I put any driftwood or anything, because I go drift grabbing. I'll go out into the streams and try and find roots that are growing down out of a tree down into a water bank, and the roots will grow around the rocks, and they make these really cool formations. And so I just take a saw and I cut that root section off with the rock, and I bring it home and I put it in a bucket, and I just keep changing the water out. I keep putting chemicals into it, like ChemPure. I have I use ChemPure things, bags, and I just put one of those in there, and I let it just keep filtering with stress zyme and just different things for killing microbes and stuff. And after a couple weeks, it's like the water's always crystal clear. Everything looks good. I test the water. Everything looks good. And I go, well, time to go in the tank. Bloop.
Sometimes people bake the...
Yeah, they always tell you to bake all that stuff. And I'm just like, I don't. I let nature take its course.
Yeah, if you cycle the tape,
yeah, just keep cycling it. Yeah, that's what we just cycle everything, letting
basically means letting the fish die.
Right? Yeah, basically just let the fish die. And that cycles everything. I do use stress zyme. There's this is essentially the one thing that I use.
That and those ChemPures.
Those and the ChemPure. ChemPure are just bags. Do I have any?
I don't know. A bottle.
I usually have a tub of it somewhere.
I don't see any.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe in the back there. I don't know. Whatever.
Pull up a picture of it online.
Yeah.
You have the string guard now.
Yeah. I use this once a week it's basically just bacteria. You're just putting live bacteria into your tank to help eat the ammoniated bacteria. So it takes all the ammonia out. I don't know. Works. And then when stuff really, 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 really goes bad, I use PimaFix.
Yeah, if they have ick.
Yeah, if they get ick, or one of the get like the what's the one where they're
fin rot?
Fin rot, but no, that's not the one I was looking for. That's not the thing. The word I was looking for. It's what the dropsy and stuff.
Dropsy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, either that stuff saves them or they die. It's one or the other.
We saved our
yeah, we saved that gourami in the other room. That thing,
he was dropsy.
Yeah, he got dropsy bad.
And we've had fish that have had dropsy before and they died.
They usually don't take long, and I just cycled them back in.
And we limited his food intake too. We didn't feed him.
For a while.
Yeah, so that way it could get the belly bloat down.
I used to use the under gravels, but they're a pain in the butt. They really.
What's that?
The under gravel filters. It's that white one that I have that goes underneath the rocks. You put the rocks on top of it, and then the tubes go down in and then go onto both sides of it, and it pulls from both sides. So it's like it pulls the water down and pushes everything through. So all the poop and it never gets poop, and it essentially is what it says.
With the ChemPure, you don't need that. You don't really
need it. Yeah, it just keeps everything so perfect. I mean, I haven't. That tank, we've vacuumed that. We've lived here 3.5 years.
Longer than that.
4 years now.
Yeah.
I've vacuumed that tank maybe 3 times. I don't do anything. I put some stress zyme in it every once in a while when it looks a little.
When we do a water change.
Yeah, when I do add water or whatever. Yeah, I add water. Add water, add some stress zyme, and then I've got the scrapers, different scraping utensils. Yeah, I like them that way though. If I'm gonna do them. I'm so easily sidetracked. See, that is my proof in the pudding on the brain, and look how easily distracted I am. Yeah, see why I signed up for this? This is
yeah, but this is conversation. That's fine.
No, that's great. I'm glad people are here to listen.
Yeah, we use the magnets too.
Yeah, I use the magnet with the little scrubbers on the sides, and then if it's being real crusty, then I just take the thing on a handle.
Squeegee thingy.
Yeah, the squeegee looking thing, the window washer thing.
Yeah.
I can either clean my fish tank or go make a couple bucks on the streets, washing windshields at the street light. Oh man. Well, traumatic brain injury, seizures, and epilepsy. Traumatic brain injury, TBI, is a well-known cause of seizures and epilepsy. TBI can range from mild to moderate to severe. Brain tissue changes can occur with an injury, depend on the type of trauma. Closed head injuries can cause bleeding or bruising in the brain, swelling, poor blood flow to brain tissue, and can impact white matter tracts of the brain. Okay. Tell I'm not a doctor. Penetrating injuries can result in scar forming in brain tissue or the coverings of the brain. Chemical changes occur in the brain after a TBI and can influence how brain cells function. Fortunately, the majority of brain injuries that are evaluated and treated are mild, and most people are able to recover from their injuries. People who experience severe TBI are more likely to develop post-traumatic epilepsy, PTE. Seizures after TBI can occur early or late in the course of recovery. Seizures which appear during the first week following a TBI present a risk factor for developing epilepsy. The risk for developing PTE is highest within the first 2 years following brain injury. Risk of PTE remains elevated for decades in moderate and severe TBI cases. About 1 in 50 people who have TBI will develop PTE. I hit my head a lot. It's hard to. It's like they're talking about somebody. Oh no, they
show them your scar on your head.
Yeah, they have one head injury. Oh, and they've hit their head once. I hit my head like what 4 times this year.
You hit it just like the other day when you
fell over. I hit it when I was upstairs and passed. Had the seizure. When I had the one down here and fell into the exercise bike. Let's see what other one.
You fell in our bathroom.
I fell in the bathroom.
That one was really bad. You like split your head open and you were bleeding.
Yeah.
And you fell the other day in the garage, but I don't think you hit your head. I think you just started to fall over.
Yeah, I think I was just falling, which is, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
But prior to that, you've been in plenty of sports accidents.
I got like different scars all over my head.
You cut the pipe on our chimney when we first moved to Pennsylvania, and that pipe, the bracket for the pipe fell on top of your head.
Right there. I got scars everywhere on my head. I don't know.
You got into an accident snowboarding and hit your face on the box.
That's I guess that light over there makes it so you can't see my scars. My imperfections is bad. Ooh, I look prettier. But no, I did. I took a box while I was snowboarding right to the corner of my eye, and it put me through a loop. I remember that day. That was scary. I was like, oh no. So the dude that was with me was like, he's like, oh no, I can see your optic nerve. I'm like, oh, yes. Ah.
Yeah, so TBI has a list of reasons why.
Yeah, mom dropped you.
It's all your fault.
My mom dropped the ball. She was told that she thought her water had broke. She went to the hospital. Her doctor wasn't there. They told her, "Oh no, you're fine. Just you'll be all right." Turns out her water had broke, and it was almost a month before they went back in. So I was around. I was sitting in my mom's uterus, sans food for almost a month. So I went from like 8 pounds to like 3 pounds 4 ounces when I was born, or something like that. 3 pounds 6 ounces, something like that. I can't remember. Well, have a great evening, my friend. Glad we could have some fish conversation. Because if it's not going to be about epilepsy, it's definitely easy to get me interested in fish. That's why it's dRiZzLe's tAnK. I love fish. It's a very easy topic for me to lose myself in. So, the seizures that accompany TBI can often be difficult to manage with medical therapy or by surgery. People with PTE can experience focal and or generalized seizures. PTE is often accompanied by chronic physical, cognitive, and psychiatric challenges. For some people, PTE can be well controlled with medications, but others may experience more frequent and disabling seizures. Physical, cognitive, and psychiatric health plus quality of life. PTE can directly impact health and quality of life. The memory and thinking problems that occur after the combined diagnosis of TBI and post-traumatic epilepsy can be significant. Memory and thinking problems can impact education, employment, relationships, and social activities. So, I think, where were we next?
That is going nuts right now.
So, let me see here. Check my notes. Can you believe it? My brain is forgetting things. The epileptic with brain injuries. Surprise.
And ADHD.
And ADHD.
I feel like it's more your ADHD these days than
I'm like a little kid again, I swear. I never, yeah, I was gonna say again. Okay, so. Well, this was.
You want me to talk about it?
I'm having trouble looking at these words. Here, trade me seats for a second. I'm gonna go grab something to drink. Go ahead. Give that a read, Roo.
You got the tiniest chair.
You can switch chairs if you'd like. You don't have to sit on the drumming.
Okay, that's better. So the first part talks about what is memory. Memory problems are common in people who suffer from seizures. Over half of people with seizures complain of memory problems and feel that seizures interfere with memory. And basically it goes into talk about it, like shows a diagram of encoding, which is like when you take in something and then you have to store it and then you have to use it again. So retrieval would be the last cycle. It goes into talk about reasons why people with seizures can have memory problems. The seizure itself, it creates abnormal frequencies depending on the severity, and whether or not your seizures are controlled can make forming memories more difficult. And then the location of where your seizures occur in the brain, since Drew's are generalized, he has them all over his brain, so so it affects every portion of his brain, and it also affects the mood, sleep, and memory when it comes to taking your medications. Then it goes into talk about like ways you can problem solve memory, like memory issues. It gives you a worksheet, different things that you can work on, organizational skills, and then it gives you a list of things to work on, disease management, list problems you have related to managing your seizures, social skills, think of problems that you have when you're with other people or in public places. Some examples of those topics: remembering medical appointments, remembering to pay bills, forgetting directions to an unfamiliar place, leaving things behind that you intended to bring, and that was for organization. And then for disease management, forgetting medical appointments, accidentally taking the wrong amount of medications. That's a big one. Confusing the day or time when taking a medication, remembering to get adequate sleep, relying more and more on reminders, calendars, notes, alarms, even other people, being me, forgetting important safety precautions, like leaving the stove on. And then the last topic that it discusses is social situations, and some examples of problems may be remembering people's names, forgetting where you saw someone, word finding difficulties, forgetting a conversation you had with someone, forgetting whether you already told someone something, forgetting what someone told you to do, remembering a joke, experience, or story, getting lost in public places, forgetting where you parked or entered a building. I don't think Drew has, I hope he doesn't have some of these problems, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. He definitely has, like, as far as forgetting like names of people, like he forgets names of people all the time, and he always comes to me to ask for help, and I'm like, I don't know that person's name either. So I was also thinking, I was like, I should probably do this too. And then one of the things that Hobscotch talks about is ways to relax. And when you're trying to relax, obviously it's best to try and do it when you're not in a stressful situation the first time you try to do like meditation techniques. And so I was just going to go over like the actual steps, because I figured because on the beginning of the Hopscotch manual, it talks about how it's not only important for the patient, but for caregivers. So I was like, this is pretty cool. I have actually just recently downloaded the Calm app on my phone because I was having some anxiety, related to Drew's epilepsy. So when I read about this, I was like, well, this is pretty neat, because I can use it too. So I figured even if you don't have epilepsy, you can still use this quick relaxation technique. When first practicing it, it's best to find a quiet, comfortable place. Be patient with yourself. With practice, you will be able to relax and release unnecessary muscle tension, even in the middle of a serious task. Eventually, you should be able to do this standing up, in line at the bank or grocery store, sitting at a meeting, or riding in a car, whenever you feel tension developing. Okay, number 1, sit in a relaxed position with your hands comfortably supported in your lap. Sit on a blanket or cushion if that is more comfortable for you. Number 2, imagine your spine as a freestanding coat rack in a corner, nice and straight. Imagine if you draped a trench coat over the coat rack. It would just flop. Let your muscles flop over the coat rack. That is your spine. Number 3, close your eyes or stare at a spot straight ahead. Scan your body for any tension and focus on releasing the tension. Start at the top of your head and work down. Imagine warm, relaxing energy coming down, going into the muscles of your scalp, pushing out the tension, relaxing each muscle as it goes. Now, into your forehead, over your temples. Relax your jaw and tongue, allowing your jaw to drop. Now feel the warm, relaxing energy moving into your neck, loosening the muscles, now warming and flowing through your shoulders, pushing out the tension, across your back, across your chest. Let the muscles become loose, warm, comfortable, and relax. Let the relaxation flow into your arms, down, down, warming into your elbows, now your forearms, down into your hands, warming them, pushing the tension out. Now relax each finger so your hands are completely relaxed. Now the relaxing energy is flowing through your back, across your chest, stomach, letting each muscle go into your hips, pushing out the tension in your upper legs, warming each muscle as it goes lower into your lower legs, now into your feet, so you're completely relaxed. So that was the basic steps. Now just quietly notice your breathing. Don't change your breathing, just notice it. Allow your breathing to become slower. Notice as you exhale how you breathe out more and more tension, allowing your shoulders and chest muscles to drop to become more limp. Each time you exhale, slowly becoming more relaxed. Number 5, each time you breathe in, you can say to yourself, I am, and as you breathe out, relaxed. I am relaxed. Continue this for 5 or 6 more breaths. Number 6, if your mind wanders to other thoughts, just be patient with yourself and redirect your awareness to your breath. So that was the quick relaxation technique that Hobscotch offers to its participants. And then at the bottom, it gives some homework.
Dang, I'm relaxed.
My voice might not even.
Now.
My voice might not be that relaxing, but okay. Memory and attention problem experiences. Use the Hopscotch daily planner to start recording your seizures and write down the dates of the next sessions. Practice quick relaxation. See the instructions above. Between now and your next session, write down one memory problem every day using the memory and attention problem experience record on the next page. And it just gives like this page. I'll show you. How do I see the stream?
You go to the internet there.
That way.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's it's kind of bright. But here's the diagram. Like it's just like a basic page of like notes.
Get it closer to this. It's because this is the.
Well, it's going to be backwards either way. So.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
No, I flipped it.
Oh, okay.
So it'll show it properly if you put it right up to it.
Okay. So the first box, it says briefly describe the memory or attention problem. And it gives an example. Forgot my ATM pin. How much did the memory or attention problem bother you?
I'm doing. You'd have to put it right up to it.
It's all right. I'll just read it.
Yeah, I'll just read it.
What was happening? What were you doing? And then you can rate it on a scale from 1 to 10. Not at all, some, very much. And then the example was, I was at the bank and there was a line with people talking and phones ringing. What I felt at the time. Example, anxious, tense, hungry, tired, peaceful, etc. Felt a little rushed and anxious as many people were waiting in line. I was also hungry. So it basically gives you the example. Then you go down, you can use, what was going on during that time and how you problem solved it. So pretty neat. Simple, but, at the same time complex because you're thinking about day-to-day problems that you normally don't think about when it's happening. And the next section, it talks about problem-solving therapy, and in Hopscotch, they abbreviate it as PST. So I'll just use the abbreviation so I don't have to say it every time. PST is a self-management technique focused on current real-life problems that affect you. Your memory coach will explain the details of the treatment and provides encouragement and support. But the ideas, solutions, and actions come from you. How it works. Memory problems can be frustrating and stressful. PST helps you take control over the memory problems in your life. Regaining control over problems can improve your mood and help you feel, in quotation marks, in control. All of us encounter problems in our lives every day. Having problems isn't unfair. It's just a normal part of being human. However, when problems build up unresolved, it can lead us to feel overwhelmed, depressed, and hopeless. As discussed in session 1, memory problems are very common in people with seizures. Memory problems can be easily frustrating. However, we can almost always exert some degree of control over our problems if we're able to tackle problems as they arise. It will decrease the likelihood that we become or stay hopeless and frustrated. We can stop and think, what problem might be bothering me? We can then put our problem-solving skills to work on that specific problem and begin to feel better. Learning these skills is especially important for people with seizures, since studies have shown that brains of persons with epilepsy can develop new strategies and pathways to improve their memory. Hey, Angela. PST is a common sense way of sorting out problems and can be applied to memory problems. It may not solve all of your memory problems, but it can teach you a better way to deal with them, feel in control, and have more self-confidence. PST gives you the skills to cope when future problems arise. And I'm just going to read you the 7 important stages of PST. Number 1, write down a clear description of one problem to work on. What is the problem about? When does it occur? Where? Who is involved? Try to break up uncomplicated problems into several smaller ones and consider them separately. Number 2, set a realistic goal. What would you like to happen? Choose a clear and achievable goal. Number 3, brainstorm. List as many solutions as you can think of. Don't rule anything out. Be creative. Number 4, consider the pros and cons for each potential solution. What are the benefits of each solution? What are the difficulties of obstacles? Number 5, choose the solution that seems the best. Which solution seems the most feasible and has the least impact on your time, effort, money, other people's effort? Number 6, develop an action plan. Number 7, review and evaluate your progress. Make needed changes. So that's the problem-solving memory tool that they offer. And then it gives a sheet to work through your problems. Then you can give different examples. You can write down your problem for the week, what goal you would like to attain. Maybe Drew wants to remember more people's names. Or remember faces.
I remember faces just fine. It's those names.
Or remembering, weekly tasks even, like what do you have to do this week? That's really important. Maybe you have a doctor's appointment and you have trouble remembering your appointments. That might be something you need to work on. Or
I'm getting good at remembering the notes on the guitar, though.
Yeah, maybe it's just anything. It could be any
it's
type.
As simple as me actually just putting forth some effort. When I care about things, I seem to put forth far more effort.
And then the Hopscotch manual goes into talking about keeping a schedule and how that's really important. They gave Drew a planner, so a daily planner, and they just suggest writing in pencil. Keep just one day planner. Don't have multiples, and eliminate any to-do lists you have. I'm one to have to-do lists very often. I write on little note cards just because I want to remember what I'm supposed to be doing. But they're saying don't do that. They're saying write it into this, right here, how it has a little example of a planner. Write simple things out, write your meal time, your getting ready in the morning time, schedule every single thing for the day, which seems like a lot, but then if you think about it, it's not really that difficult because a lot of things are just habitual that you do. I have to take my kids to school in the morning. I could write that in every day that I have to take my kids to school or make lunches, or I take a break in the middle of the day for work, so I'll write that in. And then the rest is up to you what you want to use with those other hours of your day. And it says, just keep one planner, eliminate your to-do lists, set aside a time to schedule the upcoming week. Basically, block off a time to use your planner, schedule routine events. Like I just said, block off meal, bedtimes, volunteer hours. Routines can be established. Routine events such as meals and bedtime should be changed only under extraordinary circumstances. That's one of the things that they emphasize is making sure you go to bed at the same time every night, and how you most people have a bedtime ritual that they do. For me, with my kids, I always read them a book. Some people take showers in the evening time. Whatever you do to relax and not focus on anything with blue light, that's important too. Put your phone away. I know my mother-in-law, she turns her phone on do not disturb at 10 o'clock every night, so it's automatically already programmed in her phone, so then she's not receiving text messages and emails when she's trying to sleep, because that can be distracting if you think it's something important and you want to pick up your phone even though it's your time to be asleep. So use the schedule. Oh yeah, it says number 7, add special daily tasks for the next week or month. So give yourself some grace, give yourself a break, go do something fun, maybe plan something to do with your family, or it actually has a lot of examples in the appendix on things to do, which I kind of find kind of humorous, but at the same time, you don't really think about what fun things can I do? In the back, it gives an appendix of all that. And the one that caught me was number 101, giving away something you no longer use to someone who can use it. Like I literally just did that today. I gave away like 6 bags of clothes and toys, and I don't know, it makes you feel good when you're like helping somebody out. And the lady who came and picked up the bags was taking them to needy families. So all my kids' used clothing is going to a needy family, which made me feel pretty good. But it just like gives a list of things that you could block off time for: playing with your pets, shooting pool, lighting candles, getting a massage. Number 67 says saying I love you. Putting together a jigsaw puzzle, telling jokes. So it's just like giving you like tons of examples of like simple things to do that you could block off a time of your day in your journal to just do those things, which I thought was kind of cute. Use the schedule. Establish a routine where you look at your planner daily, perhaps before or after breakfast or at some other starting point of the day. Put the planner in a convenient place on the kitchen table or next to your bed. Number 9, simplify. Keep your schedule simple. Avoid the temptation of scheduling too many tasks. Only schedule tasks that are most important and that have the greatest likelihood of getting done. So, like, that's why they say to eliminate those to-do lists, because sometimes it can be overwhelming if you look at like the bulk of things that you need to do for the week rather than just blocking it out and saying like, do I actually have time to finish 10 things? Like, am I going to wash my car, take the recycling and feed my kids and do the live stream and take a shower, like all in one day? Probably not. So probably should eliminate some of those things for other days. And then it gives tons of problem solving worksheets, because during every session that he has with his memory coach, if I can remember the name, every session he has with his memory coach, you fill out like one of these forms with like the goals, and then it has your homework for the week. I don't know if you can read that. Keeping a daily schedule using the Hobscotch daily planner. Schedule a pleasant activity this week. Work on the action plan for your specific problem. Review a memory strategy from the memory toolbox. And I'll go in and I'll talk about the memory toolbox since that's relevant to what we're talking about now. It's all the way in the back. Where did it go? Here's the memory toolbox. The highlights of it. Memory routines, reminders, reducing distractions, pacing, pleasant activity scheduling, sleep improvement, fatigue management, self-talk, active listening, rehearsing, visualization and imagination, and quick relaxation. I went over quick relaxation. We went over memory routines, reminders. I don't think we haven't gone over any of that stuff yet, but yeah, so it goes into these different worksheets. So every time he has a talk with his study coordinator, whomever, I think it's the study coordinator, they will go over, different problem solving things and what goals he's working on. And he also has an app on his phone to do his daily journal entry, which I think he has time for 10 o'clock p.m. every night. It's automatically programmed to go at 12 p.m. daily during lunchtime, where you can go in and you write about seizure activity and write about your goals. So it's kind of just like a double duty sort of thing, like, because you're doing it on here and you're doing it on the app as well. But so it has several pages of the problem solving worksheets. And then it has a wrap up maintenance page where it talks about, oh, congratulations, you finished Hobscotch. So, and then gives you tools to continue using the memory toolbox and the stuff that you've learned from being in the Hobscotch program. And then I'm just going to go through some of these examples of potential memory strategies for problems that you may have. Remembering medical appointments could be a problem. Schedule using a planner. Remembering paying bills. Memory routine scheduling. Forgetting items on a list. Example, shopping list. Self-talk, rehearsing, visualization. Forgetting plans. Scheduling, memory cues. Going back to check you did certain things. Reducing distractions, self-talk. Forgetting PIN number at the ATM. rehearsing visualization, for frequently misplacing items, example, lost keys, memory routines, leaving things behind that you intended to bring, reminders, memory routines. So, and then the appendix is actually the coolest part, I think, because it goes into all of these different types of ways that you can come up with reminders and use the memory toolbox as effectively as you can. Okay, so the first one it talks about, and I'll try to skim over so I'm not reading every single word, but the first one is memory routines. Memory routines are simply doing things in the same way over and over again in order to prevent things from getting lost or steps from being forgotten. For example, a memory routine can be always putting car or house keys on the same hook every time you walk in the door, or putting your purse to the right of your chair leg when you sit down. Another example may be the daily routine of locking up a shop or office, first shutting off computers, then lights, then arming the alarm, and then locking the door last. Another type of memory routine is to establish a memory place, like places you would put an object. One tip for starting a new memory place or routine is to place the object or do a task right before or right after a daily routine that you already follow. For example, to establish a memory place for your keys, put the keys on the same hook after walking in the door when you get home. By doing a new task close to something you do routinely every day, such as a meal or hygiene task, the new task will more likely become routine itself. If you are having trouble remembering a particular task, another strategy is to combine the task with a more pleasurable task in your routine. For example, one person was having trouble remembering to floss her teeth every day. It wasn't part of her routine, nor was it a particularly enjoyable task. She did, however, love spending time in a hot shower every morning. By moving her floss into the shower, she was able to remember to floss every day and had an excuse for taking a long, hot shower. By doing a new task close to something you do routinely every day, the new task will more likely become routine itself. It just says, on the next page is a table to help you establish new memory routines. You need not use this form, but it may be helpful in getting started. So it gives an example of car keys, where to use it. Far left hook in mudroom when entering house. So it's basically just establishing if you misplace your car keys a lot, or if you misplace your wallet. Drew, you lose your wallet all the time. So this
what?
What? Like, he puts things in really weird places sometimes. I'm like, where did I put my wallet? I'm like, it's sitting on the TV stand. Like, who puts their wallet on the TV stand? Like, it's all the way across the room in the corner, in a dark corner where you would never even see it. It just so happened that I saw it sitting there the other day, and I was like, it's over there.
Yeah, I just happened to put it over there because I was trying to do something with the cat who was climbing behind there, and I was just like, well, like that, I must just set it down, and that was the end of it.
But some of these things, like, we've been doing since, like, I first met you. You used to lose your keys and your wallet and your cell phone all the time, and I remember
so that's why you made me start the chant.
Yeah, I made him start chanting when we first started dating, because we would leave the house and I would turn around because he'd be like, I forgot my wallet, I forgot my keys, or I forgot my cell phone. And so before we left the house, every time it was wallet, cell phone, keys, wallet, cell phone, keys, wallet, cell phone, keys. Yeah, cell phone, wallet, keys. And then I added snuff into that too, because he'd always be looking for your chewing tobacco. So I was like, cell phone, wallet, keys, snuff. So I don't know. It works sometimes. Other times it doesn't work.
And then we added in wHaT as well.
Yeah.
Because that's always a sad thing to forget as well.
Yeah, can't forget the wacky tobacco. And so the next memory toolbox tool is reminders. An external cue is a term used for a memory aid or a reminder for someone to do something important. Reminders can involve vision, such as signs, or hearing, such as beeping sounds. An example of a vision cue is a sign that reads, wash your hands before returning to work. An example of a hearing cue is a beep or tone that reminds a driver to turn off their headlights, or the ring of an alarm clock. Reminders can help you remember to do important daily tasks. For example, a post-it note or sticky on the breakfast table that reads, look at your schedule, for the day. A hearing cue such as a beeper alarm or a wristwatch can be used as a reminder to take your medications. I think you used to do that. You like make little Post-its and put it on the mirror, and then you would like totally look beyond it. I feel like at times you wouldn't even look at the Post-it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, like that seems.
The one that always seemed to work was wait until the mirror was all foggy and then go in and write something on the mirror.
Make sure it's not crude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Make sure it's something you wouldn't want a family member to read later on if they are taking a shower in your restroom, because that happens. And so I would write stuff on the mirror, so then every time it fogs up, as when I get out of the shower, it reminds me, oh, do this, and this. Yeah. And or we'll write like what we got to do for tomorrow,
or like an appointment time or something on there.
Yep.
I mean, we have tons of whiteboards, but they end up like floating around the house and
getting destroyed.
Yeah. Or somebody becomes
or coloring sheets.
They get overwritten on, and then there's just like too many things on one whiteboard. Because you're really sloppy when you come to like writing on whiteboards. You'll write like really like chicken scratchy, and then like write sideways, and you can't like write underneath it neatly. But I think the external cues and the beepers are good. I like to put in things on my phone, like as reminders, and then I'll add the ringtone to it. So like even like 2 days before I have a dental appointment or something, I'll put in a reminder on my phone, just in case I didn't already remind my boss, like, hey, I'm going to be out during lunchtime because I have a dentist appointment, and let her know like prior to that day, because I've done that before and I feel like it kind of makes me look like a jerk. Like I like to tell people ahead of time that I'm not going to be at work technically. So even though I work from home, suggestions for external cues or reminders. Get a sense of your daily schedule in situations where paying attention or remembering is a problem. I have problems remembering all the time when I'm like out and I'm like if I'm at the doctor's office and they're like, do you want one of these cards with an appointment reminder on? I'm like, yes, please give it to me. I need the appointment reminder, because even though I'll put it in my phone, like sometimes I'll look at my wallet and I'll see one of the cards in there and I'll like pull it out and be like, oh yeah, I have an appointment on, in March. And maybe at that point I had forgotten to put it in my phone. So then it'll be a reminder for me to put it into my phone. Identify the situation, see a note, sign, or a hearing reminder is best to use. If you use a sign or note, put it where you will be sure to see it, such as on the handle of the refrigerator or on a mirror, like we were just discussing. If you use a tone such as watch or computer alarm, be certain it is loud enough and different enough so it doesn't just blend into all other sounds. Number 3, simplify reminders using a few words or beeps as possible. Don't use too many reminders. You'll just ignore the unimportant ones. 1 or 2 is best, 3 at most. Number 4, if the reminders don't help you, change them. Make them easy and useful. Reducing distractions. In this era of technology, there are numerous ways by which we can contact others and they us. Cell phones, text messaging, email, Facebook, and Twitter are all wonderful technologies. In an instant, you can get answers to questions that suddenly pop in your mind, either from others or banks or information on the internet. The problem comes when these technologies interfere at times when are not convenient for you. How many times has a cell phone call or text message interrupted a conversation you have had, or an email window popped on the computer screen in the middle of completing a letter or project? Then when you go back to the task at hand, poof, your working memory, train of thought has disappeared. Making ourselves available 24/7 to anyone at any time is an intrusion on our thinking space. It challenges our ability to complete a thought and to work through goal-directed tasks. I recently read somewhere that, like, when you check a text message, and you're in the middle of doing something important, it literally takes you about 20 minutes to get back to your train of thought. And I felt that when I read that. I was like, oh, that's very true. Because like sometimes I'll get a text message while I'm trying to work. And like, text messages continue to come through, but at the same time I'm like working. So I'm trying to work and answer text messages. And I notice that it's distracting. So I'll just have to like put my phone to the side, turn off my ringer, and just like basically not be rude, but just not answer the person until it's like my lunch hour or something, or when I take a break. But I can feel that even not having epilepsy, I have that problem. Here are some methods you can use to reduce distractions. Noise distraction. When doing tasks that require good focus, especially driving or operating dangerous tools such as saws or lawnmowers, shut off cell phones or electronic devices that will interrupt your focus. I thought that was really weird that they said that, because I'm like, you can't hear when you're on a lawnmower or using a weed eater or something. Like, I can't even hear somebody talking to me.
Yeah.
Like that's a really weird example.
You put headphones on and cover your ears for protection.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to hear my phone. I
intentionally don't hear you.
Yeah, because you called me the other day and I was weed eating the yard and I was like, oh shit, Drew called. Oh, excuse my language. I was like, yeah, you called, and I was like, oh no. I was like, I hope it wasn't something important, because I wasn't paying attention because I was weed eating the yard. Work area noise distraction. For those who work in close proximity to others in the workplace where phones or personal conversations are a distraction, try wearing a headset with white noise or nature sounds, some background sound, or musicians' earplugs that reduce sound but allow important sounds. Example, phone, your name to get through. I just saw an ad on Facebook the other day for like these things that you put in your ear, and they're like these little plastic like covers, and they don't completely block your ears, but they block out like the majority of sound that you hear. And I actually thought it was kind of cool because I feel like some children have like auditory issues, like when sound gets too loud, it kind of is bothersome. So I was actually thinking about getting some for my kids and myself, because I thought it would be cool to try it out and see if they were helpful in just kind of settling noise distractions, because I get like that. And actually on the Calm app, they have white noise sounds, like the sound of rain falling. What other things do they have? They have like bustling brook, and like the sound of like a stream and waterfalls and stuff like that. So I've actually used that at nighttime before when I was having like really bad anxiety, like a couple months ago after Drew had like a really bad episode when he fell upstairs. I was like super traumatized after that. So I downloaded the Calm app, and I also quit drinking caffeine at that same time. So I was like going through like caffeine withdrawals, which I didn't know were going to be insanely painful and hard to deal with. But yeah, I put my headphones in and I listened to the sound of the rain, because I was having trouble falling asleep one night, and it was very, very, it was making me very upset. So I put my headphones in, I was listening to the rain falling, and it literally helped me fall asleep that night, and pretty much saved me the next day, because I actually was able to sleep. Social setting noise distraction. Many people have a difficult time focusing on and understanding conversations with others, especially if other conversations are going on around them, such as in a gathering of a small group or in a restaurant. Focus on one person at a time and face them. Email. Remember that email is not instant messaging. It is mail. Read it once a day or twice a day for a set time. Example, 20 minutes at 8 a.m. Then shut it off to keep tones or windows from popping up on your computer screen. If the item someone emails you is that important, they will call. Put an automatic reply on your email system that notifies people that you may not respond promptly to the amount of email you get. Provide your phone number if the matter is urgent. I turn off my email while I'm working all day, because technically I'm not supposed to be checking my email all day. And so I turn the sound off on my computer and turn my mic off, just because I'm paranoid and I feel like sometimes my work is listening to me. Even though I don't think they are, I'll like slide my camera and turn my mic off, turn the sound off on, because else my Windows email will just go bing, 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 like all day long. And it's super annoying. I turn it off immediately in the morning. But yeah, I agree. Email is not text messaging, and it's not a phone call. So you shouldn't be looking at it all day long, even though it can be quite addictive. If I see one email pop up on my inbox on my phone, I'm like, oh, I got to check that email, or I got to delete this email. Cell phones and texting. Unless you are paid to be on call, or your family or friends may need you in an urgent matter, that is life or death or an important deadline, turn these devices off. Texting is a highly efficient and rapid means of communication. However, it is a disruption. When engaged in tasks that require your full attention, such as preparing a meal or carrying on a conversation, keep the device off or respond only when convenient. These interruptions in attention and focus only detract from deeper memory. Visual distraction. If you get distracted by interesting or new sights, turn your workspace away from windows or doors, face the wall, or try to arrange a walled-in space if possible. Make sure your workspace is well lit and you can see your work task easily. Okay, so that was the that was what I just read from was reducing distractions. And then the next tool is pacing and pleasant activity scheduling. Pacing of an activity is important since being too busy or overcommitting yourself can increase stress, while not engaging in enough activity can make you feel bad. How does scheduling a pleasant activity improve attention and memory? It is generally known that anxious, irritable, or depressed moods can negatively affect the brain's ability to focus attention and store information. If attention is poor, then information cannot be stored in memory. In other words, if we cannot pay attention to things, they will not be remembered later on. Identifying and doing one or more pleasant activities every day helps control stress and prevent depressed mood or anxiety. This will give your brain the best chance of performing well with attention and memory. Therefore, schedule pleasant events regularly as a way of controlling stress and improving mood and attention. When deciding what pleasant activities to schedule, think about simple tasks that are well within your control. Taking an afternoon tea break, listening to a favorite piece of music, going for a walk, exercising, or watching a movie. Small chores with clear results, such as cleaning a room, can also be used. They may not be the most pleasurable activities, but you can get a sense of achievement in getting a job done. I love getting stuff cleaned up. I'm like Drew's a clutter freak, and I'm a get it out of here and throw it away freak. Finally, an important point of pacing is to schedule brief rest periods during your work ahead of time and not wait until you experience fatigue. A quick relaxation break or another relaxing activity should be scheduled. This will help prevent stress-related fatigue and exhaustion that make memory and attention problems worse. Below are some suggested steps to begin activity scheduling. Remember that whether or other people can change your plans. Therefore, when scheduling a pleasant activity, you may want to include a backup plan in case a friend cannot meet you or weather turns bad. In this way, you are in control of your activity, not other people or the weather. I know if I were to plan, like I wanted to go golfing over my vacation, and that never ended up happening because the weather was so crappy here. It was like, I don't know, it was like 32 degrees the one day, and it just kept dropping. I was like, yeah, I'm not golfing in 20-degree weather, thanks. So that was kind of a bummer because I was like, well, now what are we going to do? And we ended up watching movies, I think, the whole entire time, which was still fun. I like sitting on the couch and watching movies with the kids. Activity scheduling steps. 1, using your Hobscotch daily planner. Schedule your routine events and daily tasks first. Block off meal times, bedtimes, work, or volunteer hours. Number 2, schedule one pleasant activity, as short or long as desired a day. Schedule a backup event in case things do not go as planned. Keep it simple. Scheduling some quick relaxation, as short or as long as desired, a few times a day or even as often as every hour, will help you pace your day. And then it just goes in, like I was saying earlier, about all the different things that you could do if you're a lame-o like me and you can't think of things to do. I mean, some of them are, like they said, they're really simple. Eating favorite foods, doodling or sketching. There's mine, playing golf. I would do that every day if I was retired. And in the South, I guess, because we're not South enough. We're in North Carolina, so. Going out to dinner, read a book, write in your journal, meditating, sightseeing, gardening, getting out for fresh air. So it's just like simple things. Don't make it overly complicated, like they said. Okay, the next memory or the next tool, memory toolbox tool is sleep improvement. Why is sleep important? Being sleep deprived is a common trigger for seizures and can make it more likely that you have a seizure for other reasons. For people with epilepsy, getting high quality sleep every night is essential. Poor sleep can negatively affect your memory by making it difficult to pay attention or concentrate, preventing memories from sticking. Here are some strategies you can try to improve your sleep. Drew has really bad insomnia. I don't. I normally can go to bed at like he says, like a light switch. I just put my head on the pillow and I'm out. But I also have 2 kids and a house full of pets and a husband with epilepsy. So when I'm ready for bed, I'm ready for bed. And if I don't get enough sleep the next day, I'm feeling it. So, but if you do have epilepsy, then I suggest you probably need to develop a really good sleep routine. I feel like the lights is like the number one thing, like all the blue lights. And I feel like with epilepsy, that's like a major trigger is, light in general. So getting away from the light and focusing on something relaxing, like maybe just, taking a bath or like watching a quick movie before bed or something, just something that really helps you relax. And then it gives steps for improved sleep quality. The bedroom should be a dedicated sleep chamber. Your bedroom or sleep area should be dark and free of wakeful distractions. This is key since the overall goal of these steps is to increase the time spent in bed asleep and not awake. Lying in bed awake only conditions the brain to be awake and promotes excessive worry about not sleeping. I get that. Avoid television, talking on the phone, or working in bed. It is best not to have a TV in the bedroom. Number 2, schedule sleep. Go to sleep and get up at the same time each day. Have a regular schedule is important to help your brain develop regular sleep stage cycles. Number 3, don't lie in bed awake for longer than 25 to 30 minutes. If this happens, get up and go to another room. Then do something that is relaxing. Read, listen to music, or practice relaxation. Return to bed when you feel sleepy. Number 4, avoid daytime napping. If you must nap, keep it limited to one nap or no more than 30 minutes. I read somewhere a long time ago that like if you're gonna nap during the day, you shouldn't nap longer than 15 minutes.
15 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes tops. But I stick to the 15 rule because I feel like if I sleep like any longer, that I start to get into like try to get into like REM cycle sleep and stuff like that, and it just makes you feel even groggier. Avoid daytime napping. If you must nap, worry time. If you find yourself habitually thinking about things in bed that produce anxiety, such as what you need to do the next day, start scheduling a few minutes earlier in the day, not before bed, as your worry time or time to schedule things you need to do tomorrow. And I think that's a great tip. Because a lot of times I'll put my head on the pillow and start thinking about, oh no, we got to do this, or I got to take the kids to do this next week, or I didn't make lunches. I'm going to have to make those in the morning time. So like I've been starting to like try to remember to do lunches in the evening before I get up. I just noticed like the morning goes more smoothly if I've already got stuff done. Wind down time. Remember that some people need more time to unwind before bed than others. If you need to, allow yourself an hour or longer to unwind before bed. Take a bath, read, watch television. Never do work right up until bedtime. Always stop at least 30 minutes, an hour before bed. Minimize stimulants. Avoid caffeinated beverages, coffee, tea, soda after 5 p.m. Avoid tobacco, which is a stimulant. Also, remember that certain over-the-counter and prescription medicines can be stimulating and disrupt sleep. For example, some cold and allergy medicines. Ask your doctor if you have questions about your medications. All right, the next tool is fatigue management. Fatigue or lack of energy can affect memory and attention. Being fatigued can impair your concentration, making it difficult to pay attention and for your brain to store new information. Below are some strategies for managing fatigue. Check that. I haven't looked at the chat in a while. Yeah, I like the thunderstorm sounds too. If it's like thundering outside, I love that, Angela. So breaking up larger tasks into smaller tasks with brief breaks will help. Breaking up larger tasks into smaller tasks with brief breaks will help prevent fatigue buildup. It is important to take breaks at scheduled times, even if you don't feel fatigued. This way, you will likely spread out your valued and busy activity over time and still achieve your goals, but better control fatigue. Use relaxation skills. In particular, be sure to practice quick relaxation through the day. That's that technique I went through earlier. If you want to go back and rewatch it, or I can go over it again here in a few minutes. This will help restore energy. Again, don't wait until you're tired or run down. Instead, do this at a predetermined time. Regular exercise. Many people who have fatigue problems avoid exercise or physical activity thinking it will add to fatigue. In fact, exercise such as walking 30 minutes a day, 3 to 4 days per week can boost energy levels, especially if you pace yourself well. 4, diet. There are many foods and beverages that may contribute to fatigue. These include soda, sweets, and starchy carbohydrates such as cookies, cake, white rice, and white bread. These foods cause your blood sugar to spike, giving you a sugar rush, but then cause you to crash and feel tired. Try these changes in your diet to give your body more energy. Focus on eating lots of fruits and vegetables. Choose whole wheat pasta, brown rice, and whole grains and cereals. Whole grains cause less fluctuation in blood sugar levels. That's super important for people with epilepsy too, because Drew does the modified Atkins diet. And so I really try to keep a lot of meats around, keep things, I'll cook eggs. Like today when we got up kind of late because of New Year's, but I made bacon and sausage and And that's what we ate for like mid-morning lunch, I guess. And, that keeps Drew's body in ketosis. But with the modified Atkins diet, I think you can eat like less than 100 carbs a day. So if he's choosing things like whole wheats or brown rices or whole grains, and that's better than eating like white rice or, stuff like that your body tends to burn up a lot faster and causes a larger insulin spike. Eat sweets in moderation. Keep portions small. Eat one cookie, not the whole box. Avoid the temptation to snack on junk food such as potato chips or sweets. Keep a variety of snacks such as nuts or fruit readily available in case you get hungry between meals. Keep your body well hydrated. Drink water instead of sugary beverages. Flavored 0-calorie seltzer water can be a delicious option, or create your own flavored water by adding your favorite fruits such as oranges or watermelon to a pitcher of ice water. I was reading about how those flavored waters are like really bad, like the sparkling waters that we were drinking. So instead of getting the flavored sparkling waters, I started getting just like lemons and limes, and then buying the sparkling water, and then just adding my own flavoring to it by like adding lime and lemon to it, because I like water, but I also like carbonated water too. And that's a better option because then you're not getting all the preservatives and all the weird natural flavor. That's not very natural. All right. And next tool is self-talk. Self-talk is a strategy that helps improve memory for completing tasks or remembering steps taken in daily life. You will say or describe Self-talk is a strategy that helps improve memory for completing tasks and remembering steps taken in daily life. You will say or describe the steps of a multi-step task out loud to yourself as you're doing them. By doing this, you become more aware of your individual steps in detail, and this helps focus attention. Research has shown this to be helpful with improving memory for individuals who struggle with attention and short-term memory problems. Self-talk involves several steps. Your memory coach can model self-talk for you by taking himself or herself through a task. First, you do the task as you talk yourself through, saying the steps out loud. Next, you repeat the task but whisper each step. Finally, you complete the task again, but with no talking out loud, silently. The idea is to get used to and practice self-talk, but eventually without having to talk out loud. Repeated practice with many daily tasks can improve your focus on the self-talk and ultimately your attention. By improving your attention to a task, it is more likely that the steps of the task will be stored in your memory. A great way to practice this is to make it useful is to simply do it as you carry out your everyday tasks. Making coffee, breakfast, and cleaning up, shaving, brushing your teeth, all these tasks involve little steps, and many of us have been sidetracked and missed a step. For example, allowing the coffee to brew, but missing the step of inserting the pot in the machine. You do that like all the time.
What?
Like make the coffee, and then like the other day you were like, I guess you were like in between having seizures and stuff, and you forgot to put the coffee pot into the pot. And so our older son like came in, he's like, "Mom, the coffee's spilling over the counter." I was like, "Oh, really?" And then like walked in and it was just like pouring down the counter. I was like, "Oh crap." And then like you said that it tastes really weird after that because for some reason the grounds like started spitting out. So I had to restart the whole coffee process over again. But I mean, this is supposed to help with that. If you're going to go through a task, then you start talking out the task, and it'll help build a muscle memory in your brain as to the tasks needed to complete simple tasks such as making a pot of coffee or brushing your teeth or whatever you struggle with. I mean, some people with epilepsy really struggle with simple tasks. So, I mean, this hit home for me. When I read that, I was like, wow, are they taking this from Drew's brain? Because this is literally what he does. You can also apply self-talk tasks with more difficulties, such as baking cookies. See the steps of self-talk summarized in the next column, and it just goes the steps there. It's like kind of blurry, but it says select the practice task. Complete the task while talking yourself through it. Be sure to include each step. If you make a mistake, simply say to yourself, "Okay, I was thrown off for a second. Now let's take the next step." Mistakes are okay. Just pick up where you left off. After you complete the task, repeat it. Only this time, whisper to yourself. After that, repeat the task again, only silently thinking through each step. I used to make fun of my mom when I was a kid a lot because she used to talk to herself when she'd be doing stuff. I'm like, who are you talking to? She's like, myself. Now I don't think it's so weird. Okay, the next tool is active listening. Hey Snorky, or Snork Y2K says he's using monk fruit extract instead of sugar. It does not impact the insulin system. Just be sure not to get the version with erythritol. The erythritol becomes an extreme laxative. Yeah, erythritol is really bad. That's one of the ones that I try to avoid, and I don't think dogs can eat it either. I think it's like
Makes me poop something first.
Yeah, that's what he's saying is a laxative. The biggest problem with monk fruit is that 1 teaspoon of monk equals 1 cup of sugar, so it comes with a comically tiny spoon. I've never actually tried it. Like, I never bought it at the store, but I mean, I see it inside of products now more often. That's interesting. Active listening. Interacting with other people or being social is an important part of human experience. People who are involved in social activities at least 2 times each week have less depression than those who are not engaged in social activities. However, difficulty with memory or paying attention can make social situations difficult. For example, some people have trouble remembering the names of new acquaintances, have difficulty following a conversation, or forget what someone told them. Some people then avoid social activities to not appear stupid. Using memory strategies such as active listening may make it easier to have valuable social activities and relationships, like time with friends and loved ones, attending family get-togethers, and participating in community and church groups. And then I won't read all this, but then it just goes on to talk about active listening. I'm pretty sure we all know what that means. Okay. Active listening is a term psychologists use when describing conversations. Sometimes following or understanding when there are several small conversations going on at the same time is difficult. Using active listening can help you follow the conversation, avoid awkwardness. Here are the basics to try. Oh, God, they're going to get rid of my awkwardness. Thank God. Listen. First, look at the person when they are talking to you. You don't need to stare at and have fixed evil eye. Eye contact, but do face them. Keep your muscles relaxed. Summarize. It is okay to summarize out loud what you think you just heard someone say to you. Not in great detail, but the basic idea. For example, if the person describes a recent shopping trip, you might reply with a summary. So you went to the store and found some good bargains. Clarify. This is similar to summarizing, but clarifies what you think you heard but weren't sure. It is okay to say something such as, just to be clear, did I hear you right? Or simply, I'm sorry, did you say you went to the store on Maple Street and found some good bargains? While these forms of active listening skills appear simple, they do take some practice so they go smoothly. All people can have difficulty focusing on conversations, lose a train of thought while speaking, and feel off track. Try it out the next conversation you have. By using these methods in daily conversations, you will be more likely to focus on the things being talked about and store them into memory so that you remember them at a later time. I do that. I mean, I've been doing that for years. When somebody tells me their name, I like repeat their name back so that way I remember the person's name, because I'll remember faces, but I won't necessarily remember names. The next tool is rehearsing. Tried making some lemonade with monk fruit and had my daughter try it besides some made with sugar. She could not tell. My daughter has a version of epilepsy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
That thing on the left there, on the left side where it says banner right there, click over where it says comments. And
oh, okay, my bad. Yeah. I want to read more about monk fruit now. I've heard about it, but I haven't read anything about it. That's cool. That's cool that she found something that she likes. I know neither of my kids. I mean, Malachi had a seizure when he was around 2.5 years old. My older son, but it was a febrile seizure. It was just where the fever spikes really high when they're little, and it causes too much activity in the brain, and they just have a seizure. But I've never seen him have knock on wood, I've never seen him have any type of seizure other than that febrile seizure. And my younger son has never had a seizure. So But I recently was thinking about it, that they probably should go get tested, because Drew's niece has epilepsy, and they didn't figure it out until she went and had an EEG done. So I think she's medication free now, and I don't think she's having any. She's never had a grand mal seizure, but she was having partial seizures. So, and if anybody knows anything about it, then you definitely know that once you start having seizure activity, it can turn into grand mal seizures. So any way you can avoid the, having a long-term problem, that's always a good thing, is to find ways to avoid sugar and try to stay on like a type of modified Atkins diet. Yeah, I don't know. Malik already has that problem, so the Snork Y2K said that it can cause diarrhea. Like, yeah, Malik, he gets diarrhea just from eating weird stuff.
And he's like me, you just eat something odd that's not supposed to be food, and you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah. I mean, we fed them ice cream last night while we were down.
I love how it's like my mother, she's always like, I'm allergic to this and this and this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, because you eat like the economy versions of all that stuff. Like, I drink grass-fed whole milk, good ass whole milk, and I don't have a problem anymore. But I used to remember when you met me, I'd sit there and I'd like drink a half a gallon of chocolate milk and go golfing. Right. And walk 18 after drinking a gallon of chocolate milk, and eat like 5 hot dogs and it was silly, and I'd be fine. And then but you also had appendicitis too. At one point. Yeah. Yeah, that was like having different parts of your digestive system removed can cause you to have. Yeah, I didn't seem to be. The milk until after my appendicitis. Yeah, it didn't seem to bother me until after that. Yeah, that's why. But the economy milks are like really bad, like just bleached milk, and they take all the fat out of it and stuff. And I learned the things you need back in the whole point of drinking milk. They take all that stuff out and then give you some bleached water with a little bit of lactose powder in it. Back in 2012, when I was first going into school, my anatomy professor told us you need to drink the whole milk because there's amino acids in the whole milk that help the milk proteins break down the fats, and together they work as they should. Like those ones, the grapefruit, that when they use the grapefruit for strawberry flavor. Oh, that's and I call it every time because I hate grapefruit. I hate it. It's my grandmother used to feed us grapefruit when we were kids. It's like the one citrus I just can't even get behind. I'd rather eat a durian. I know people that eat them, but they have to put sugar on them. You can put as much sugar on it as you want. They're gross. I'm not a huge fan of them. It's a weird. I've heard that they help you lose weight, and it seems like anything disgusting helps you lose weight. Exercise and eating less, right? And not drinking booze like a fish, and it worked fantastically. Yeah, but if you're gonna drink milk, you should really honestly drink whole milk, and you're actually drinking. If you've got a local farm who you can go and pay a couple extra bucks to get non-pasteurized, is the best kind of milk, and it has the cream in it. And, oh my god, it's so good. And I don't know, I love milk. I'm a weirdo. Drinking a milkshake. Yeah, and it's just natural. Yeah, you see the field that they got the cows were standing in, and you see what they were eating, and it's not a big pile of cornmeal and bull crap and the same fake oats and stuff that they can't digest. It turns into grass nothing. Fed, because the grass, when the cow eats the grass, it gets all the omegas from the grass, and then it in turn is in the milk. But when they pasteurize it, or when they break it down into 1% or non-fat, you lose all of those nutrients from the milk. So you're basically just making your body process things that it shouldn't be processing, and not getting any benefit from the things that you're drinking. So you might as well spend a couple extra dollars and get something worth having, like some real whole milk. But yeah, Yeah. I lived in the middle of an Amish.
Yeah.
Everything was Amish where I'm from.
And you know what's funny is Whole Foods used to have an Amish milk that they carried for a long time, and then just recently they stopped carrying it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the one that we were buying, and I have the butter that I can buy, and like you can buy like the Amish butter now at most stores,
and
it like comes in like a big
some
tube.
little baby pack of butter, you get this gigantic block.
Yeah.
And so no, it's not shaped perfectly. Like I don't care. I get like 8 times more butter for the same exact price, and it's way freaking better. And there's all kinds of farms out. If you're planning on buying meat and eating meat anyway, go get a freezer and then go to your local farm and have them butcher you an animal right then and get fresh meat that's never been frozen, that's never been affected and been fed crap and all that. You can figure out what you eat. You can learn what you're eating and take control of that. And it makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference.
For sure. It's almost 8. Oh, it's 8 o'clock now. So
well, it's all right. Keep going. I mean, I'm not sure if the Fearless channel is going to have anything else on tonight. There's some technical difficulties, so we're just sitting tight, waiting to hear a response about what's going on moving forward tonight. I'm not sure if there will be a show for Lucky or not. But
yeah, I don't think there is going to be.
I'm not sure, but just so we'll just.
What's up, Zach?
What's up, buddy? It's not the stinky one, right?
No.
Oh my goodness, the cat's so smelly.
I know. Frankie keeps like
avoiding him too. He's like trying to avoid him.
Oh, Zach.
Yeah, he's trying to avoid him. He's like, I get it, man. You're spraying. I get it. Mm-hmm. Dang.
He's like, I'm the fluffy, clean one over here.
Everybody wants to get that. You can get your stink on my fur.
Don't get away from my fluff, bro. Okay, so I'll go. There's only a couple more tools from the toolbox.
Yeah, go ahead and cover those toolbox things real quick. Go ahead and read those over. I'll just keep my mouth shut for a few minutes. Go ahead and just read those out. Let's get that in, and then we'll get ready to close out.
Yeah. Okay. So the next tool is called rehearsing. Rehearsing is straightforward. It simply involves repeating silently or out loud new information that is just heard. The purpose of using verbal and silent rehearsal in everyday life is to remember facts, people or names, etc. Here are some specific rehearsing techniques you can try. Simple rehearsal. Most simply repeat information out loud or silently when you hear a zip code, address, or name. Forgetting the name of someone you either just met or met some time ago happens to many people. Some people find it helpful to repeat back the name of the person they were just introduced to. That's like I was saying earlier. And they basically go in and say that, saying the name actually, quote unquote, deepens the memory. Number 2, spaced rehearsal.
Multiple times does even more.
Yeah, that's what the next one is called, spaced rehearsal. And that's basically spacing out that same technique. Using this technique, you repeat a piece of information either to yourself or out loud, making the time interval slightly longer between each repetition. This method trains the brain to store and retrieve new information. For example, say you want to remember a person's name. When you hear it, you repeat to yourself, Alice Jones, and then you wait 3 seconds.
Alex Jones. Yeah. I'd never have trouble remembering Alice Jones because I would immediately make a joke about her name, and then that would be
that's
the end
another
of that.
That's another memory technique.
That's one of the memory techniques I know that they talk about in there. But if you were like,
here,
remember Alice Jones? What? Alex Jones? Hey, what is?
We can't say that name on YouTube. We'll get blocked or something.
I think you're allowed to shit talk them. Okay. I think you get full reign to say horrible things about people that they don't like. It's as long as it's not people they like.
Right. Okay. So okay, it says like you say the name Alice Jones, you wait 3 seconds, and then you say Alice Jones. You wait 7 seconds, you say Alice Jones. Then again with an even longer interval, visually, this would appear something like this, and it shows like the visual, like Alice Jones, Alice Jones, Alice Jones, Alice Jones, and then you wait 7 seconds, Alice Jones. Okay, and then the next technique for rehearsing is called chunking. One method helping to remember phone numbers or long numbers is called chunking. This involves grouping phone numbers into pairs or triplets. For example, the phone number 650-4221 can be repeated as 650-4221. You have actually seen this many times before. Radio and TV ads do this to increase the chances listeners will remember the number. This method is simple but effective. So, I mean, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I think everybody, I do that. I already, instead of saying things, I use, 20s and 40s rather than saying individually, numerically, every single number. And then the fourth rehearsing technique is called rhymes. Most of us can recall nursery rhymes from childhood. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. The sound association between similar sounding words allows the brain to connect associations between two bits of information well. Therefore, using rhymes is in remembering names, numbers, or tasks to be done can be to your advantage. Here are some examples. Thanks for coming, Angela. Happy New Year.
Thank you for coming.
Right? Okay. 2 bits of remember. Therefore, using rhymes in remembering names, numbers, or tasks can be done to your advantage. Here are some examples. Rhyming names. This is simple with simple names, such as Jane for Maine. However, it may be a bit trickier with longer, unusual names. Don't be afraid to be creative. By adding humor to the name person association, you can deepen the memory and enhance its storage. For example, Maureen the Queen or Denise has geese. Some of these rhymes may imply the opposite of their fine character or be simple nonsense. Josh Squash or Bryant the Tyrant. Keep in mind you don't have to say any of this out loud. Musical rhymes. Think of the power of advertising jingles. These stick in your mind even though it's the last thing you want cluttering up your precious consciousness. What American does not know the Folgers coffee jingle or the Oscar Mayer song? The point is that if you want to remember a name, task, or any other concept, use rhymes and perhaps even put it to song. Advertisers have known this for decades. Feel free to sing it out loud, in public at your own risk, or silently. Be creative and put your new memory to music you know well. Again, adding humor can help your memory stick. And so that was the bulk of rehearsing. Just to recap, it was simple rehearsal, spaced rehearsal, chunking, rhymes, rhyming names, and musical rhymes. I don't know. I think out of all of those, I used chunking already. The musical rhymes one, I'm like, I don't know if I can get behind that one.
I get behind that one because I write Weird Al songs all day. I write parodies all day.
Okay.
Look, I've got a notebook full of parodies.
I guess that makes sense because I do that too. I'll make up my own songs based off of the jingles of other songs.
Yeah. So I'd say that's I've got that parody ready to go as soon as I want.
I think the simple rehearsal one is the best one because just saying the person's name back to yourself is a good way of remembering. Okay, and the next tool from the Hobscotch toolkit is visualization and imagination. Some research evidence suggests that using mental pictures can improve recalling words and names, or even remember passwords and PIN numbers. Some neuropsychologists believe that by using mental pictures to remember names of places, people, and objects, the brain uses part of the vision system to aid the memory system. At its simplest, you can use mental pictures that are associated with a person, names, place or thing, or perhaps the task you want to remember. This is nothing new. For years, advertisers have found that logos can improve sales of products by having a simple picture become associated with a name. For example, what do you think of when you see golden arches along the highway? Here are 3 simple steps on how to use visualization and imagination to aid memory. Number 1, state the name of what it is you want to remember. It is always helpful to first rehearse something aloud or silently if you want to remember it later. You may even repeat the name, place, or object several times. See if it sounds like something you can picture. 2, next, describe what you picture or visualize. When you say the name, place, or object, what do you think of? The word or phrase you want to remember may have a peculiar sound association. For example, to remember the name Barry McDonald, you might first picture a bear. McDonald may evoke visions of a farm or golden arches. Number 3, now exaggerate the image. Once you think of an image associated with a word or phrase, now make it ridiculous. For example, you may want to visualize a person named Barry McDonald as a giant bear in human clothing ordering food at a McDonald's restaurant. Also, you may imagine giant numbers of your PIN standing behind you in the line at the ATM if you tend to forget them. The point is, making the image exaggerated, outrageous, or humorous adds to the emotional association. Deeper emotion deepens the memory. Visualization with a twist. You may want to try associating names, places, or things with particular smells. Smells and memories are frequently connected. You may have experienced a moment where a certain smell caused you to suddenly remember an event that you had forgotten for years, or had the memories of a particular person become associated with a specific fragrance. Use smells to evoke a mental picture that fits the word in the same fashion as above. The name-face association. Remembering which names go with what face is something that many individuals experience difficulty with from time to time. Paying attention while looking at a person and hearing their name can help consolidate a memory. An additional strategy, the name-face association, can help name-face recognition. It has 3 steps. Think of a picture that is somehow related to a name. For example, someone named Brooks can evoke an image of a stream covered with rocks and a grassy bank. Alternatively, someone named Winslow could be associated with wind slow. Perhaps an image of a still sailboat adrift with flapping sails is an image that comes to mind. Number 2, examine the face for a prominent feature. Perhaps a nose or a forehead stands out, or eyes, hair, or other features of the person distinguishes their appearance. Number 3, have the prominent feature and the image interact in some way. Picture the visual image and a prominent feature interacting in some absurd way. For example, in the example of Brooks above, the stream or brook can be pictured as running down a forehead. The absurd nature of image evokes more emotion, hopefully humor, which adds to the deepening of the memory and remembering later. And then it continues with the same, I guess it's the same topic. As with any memory skill, practice will bring about the best results. Obviously, this strategy is best practiced in public settings where you can meet people. However, there are other ways to practice, even if you have a few opportunities to socialize and meet new people. Use the name-face mnemonic while watching television, news broadcasts, or other programs, and practice remembering names with faces seen on screen. You can also practice with internet website images of faces with names and captions, or with newspaper or magazine articles. Anywhere a name-face association can be made. Walk away from the image and keep it pictured in your mind as you repeat the name of the image. Come back in 5 minutes to see if you accurately recall the name. Now walk away for 7 minutes or 10 minutes, and so on. Be creative in your practice methods. The next session is talking about the mental walk. The mental walk is another visualization strategy that helps individuals remember lists of words. It may be a useful way to remember a grocery or shopping list, a list of errands, or new material when taking a class or academic course. It was originally used in a learning skill in ancient Greece before inexpensive paper was manufactured so students could take notes. Using the mental walk is straightforward and similar to the visualization technique above. Number 1, picture a familiar space with different rooms, such as the rooms of your home. Think of the order of the rooms you typically follow as you walk through your home: the entryway, kitchen, living room, etc. You could also use places within one room, such as a closet, dresser drawers, countertops, or cabinets. Number 2, in each room, picture each of the objects or items to be remembered. For example, we can use a simple grocery list. Picture green beans in the entryway, tomatoes in the kitchen, milk in the living room. Third, and once again, make the image of the object odd or absurd. Picture giant green beans in the entryway, the kitchen full of hundreds of tomatoes, and a huge container of milk in the living room sitting on the couch. Again, evoke emotion to deepen the memory. Using this type of encoding or memory storage method, the list of items should be easier to recall with a more unique and mildly emotional charged memory. The most important point in using the mental walk is using the same memory space, such as the rooms of your home. Each time you remember a list of objects, items, or names, most people can remember their home well, but it is the list of items or tasks that is new and most easily forgotten. Therefore, the familiar space is used over and over again, but with different objects. Each time there is a new set of items to remember, such as a shopping list. Start with just remembering 3 or 4 rooms or spaces in which to place objects you wish to remember. Then work up to more spaces as you become familiar with the strategy. Challenge yourself. Many people use 10 or 12 rooms to remember lists. As with anything, practice and daily application makes the strategy simple and easy to use with time. So commit the time to mastering it. I thought that technique was kind of weird. I'm like, I don't know. It just seemed a little odd to me, but I'm like, I guess it could work. And then the next tool for the toolkit is, I think this is the last one. Oh yeah, this is what we had already been over, the quick relaxation. I mean, do you want me to go over it again?
Not unless it's absolutely pertinent.
Well, the last one was quick relaxation, and that was basically the technique I was talking about at the very beginning, on how to it's basically a type of, I think of a type of meditation. Sit in a relaxed position. Imagine your spine as a freestanding coat rack. Close your eyes and stare at a spot straight ahead of you. And then you do the breakdown. Imagine warm, relaxing energy coming down, going to your muscles, down to your forehead, and then so on and so forth. And then at the very end, you just quietly notice your breathing. Each time you breathe in, you say, I am. And when you exhale, you say, I am relaxed. Continue this for 5 or 6 more breaths. If your mind wanders to other thoughts, just be patient with yourself and redirect your awareness to your breath. That's kind of a similar technique that they teach in the KnOw app, and the KnOw app is free. So, but if you'd like to rewind the episode and go back to the beginning, I talk about it at the very beginning. And then at the end of the manual, it goes in, has more problem-solving worksheets to fill out with homework. Or no, this doesn't have homework. Just gives you problem to work on in the week, goal, possible solutions, advantages, disadvantages, solution choice, steps to achieve solution, how confident are you in achieving your goal, review progress on solving problems. So, I mean, they're simple, but at the same time, it can be complicated. Maybe it's hard for you to come up with a goal or something, but completely easily doable and for the benefit of you. And then it's another example of a memory and attention problem experience record, like I went over at the very beginning. So just like a repeat of all of the tools that it had. Just, I guess it's just an extra page for the appendix. But I did want to go back to the very beginning and just kind of go over, because I don't know, did you go over this? The difference between short-term and long-term memory? You did?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I covered. If you made it through there, we're good.
Okay. We're at 8:16, so.
Yep, we're in good shape.
But yeah.
We went over time. We got everything in that we wanted. Didn't even cover part of what we were going to. So I'd say we are in good shape.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
We'll get us closed out here. Well, I would say Ms. Lala did a fantastic job of getting that information out, because my eyes didn't want to read it. So I guess I have gotten so used to having things in front of my face that when I try to read something on actual paper that's not digital, I struggle. But I thank everybody who stopped in, took a moment to see what we had going on today. We've been putting work into this. I've really been trying to make this something that might help somebody, anybody. I mean, just if we can help anybody, that's really all I can hope for. I guess I have, let's see here. I do have a Venmo. If you'd like to donate, basically everything I get, I'm just either donating to something to do with epilepsy, or the Fearlessly Authentic Network has been a great help up to this point. So I've actually been trying to feed them some spoils the last couple weeks, trying to help them out as much as I can for being here to help me. And I know in the year 2023, the Bretonians will truly appreciate some support. So the world has a lot to offer. Let's not forget about those who need help the most. I could use help, but I don't. There's worse people off. I'm not gonna reach out for help from anybody. I don't care if this ever gets monetized. I don't care about any of that. If this can help a few people along the way, that's really the most important thing to me. Because what do you know? You're not alone. I'm right here. Again. I plan on being here again next week as well. So, if you have a topic or something you would like to see us discuss, if there is some sort of addition that you think you could bring to the table, I know we got a lot of good people that have straggled in and out through the episodes. Some very intelligent people. I see Snorking here right now. He's always good for some excellent information, especially about things like medical devices and stuff. He knows all kinds of crazy stuff. He's like an encyclopedia of different information as well. So he's usually a good.
His daughter has epilepsy too.
That's what I mean. So it's not just something that he's sympathetic to. He's empathetic to. So I mean, at the same time, it's good to see people that can truly send some stuff my way. If you got something that you think will help us, some people that are not afraid to come on and talk. And
be the case.
Yeah, I mean, I can't seem to get anybody to come and talk about a darn thing. I mean, realistically, we want people with epilepsy to come on, but I every time I call one of these places like Hobscotch up in Dartmouth and whatnot, I ask them, like, hey, you or anybody you work with, any coworkers, anybody, I don't care who it is. I mean, I've said it many times. Everybody's an egg of information. You just got to crack them open. You'll find that information, and it's worth it every time. Even the people you believe know nothing. We've all lived and experienced and found different things in life. Just because you're smart in one thing doesn't make you the smartest in another. So I always find that no matter who it is in the world, I can learn something from anybody. Somebody usually knows something I don't know. May not be the best stuff. It may not be something I necessarily need to learn, but why not? Everything I learn in life brings me more wisdom, and any wisdom I can bring to me, I would love to be able to bring to others. So I hope to see everybody again, and please come back anytime. It looks as though I'll be streaming on not only YouTube but Facebook as well now, and that's beneficial. So I'm going to try and figure out how to possibly get on to Rumble by next week. See if that's a possibility. I think I got to pay for that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they're a pay-for service, but regardless, they also will pay you if you actually look at your stuff. So I don't know. I guess find out who we can wrangle in and see if we can't get some information out of some people. So, hey, everybody, thank you for coming. Thank you for listening, and I hope me and Lala were able to we're able to bring some info, and maybe even just kickstart something
for the new year.
Yeah, kickstart something for the year. So everybody, thank you again. Remember, you're not alone.
Bye,
We're right
everybody.
here. Have a great week.